Today, Naledi, well, today actually it was an extension of the closing arguments that started yesterday. You remember that yesterday all of the defense attorneys were at pains to convince the court that their accused or their clients should be granted bail. The prosecutor also submitted his closing remarks in court yesterday, and it was after his submission that the lawyers felt that they wanted to respond to what he had said, and the court then postponed the matter to today, where they were then given an opportunity to talk to some of the pointers that were raised by the prosecutor. One of the things that was spoken about extensively today was the issue of the primary caregiver. You remember that yesterday when the prosecutor was doing his closing remarks, he spoke about the fact that all of the accused in their affidavits, they mentioned that they were either married or had somebody at home that they were taking care of. For example, in the case of Natasha Jansen, who is accused number 8 in the matter and applicant number 5, in her affidavit that she submitted to the court applying for bail, she mentioned that she has 2 children who she's taking care of. Their fathers are only contributing financially towards their care. And then she also has a mother and a father, and she lives with them in the same yard. She lives in a shack, in actual fact, in the same yard. But the prosecutor pointed out yesterday in his closing remarks that the fact that the children have a grandmother who will be able to take care of them in the event that Natasha Jansen does not get bail, definitely she should not be considered for bail. That's what he submitted. He also submitted that in the case of Mutanyani Masukela as well as Thabo Bester, they are married, and therefore their wives will be able to take care of the children in the event that they are not granted bail. So today their lawyers were responding to that to say these people are actually breadwinners as well. They're not just primary caregivers, and the court wanted to understand what is the distinction between a caregiver and a breadwinner in the case of this, so that when it considers their bail application, it should understand what distinction to make between that. And also the issue that was also mentioned by the prosecutor yesterday was the fact that the state witness, when he was leading evidence in court, he actually stood in the stand and he gave that evidence viva voce, which means that he was actually talking about what he had discovered during his investigation. Whereas in the case of the accused, their evidence came through an affidavit, and the discussion today was whether the evidence that is led viva voce or evidence that is led through an affidavit, which one weighs the more between the two, and what the court should then consider. So these are some of the things that came out in court, and the magistrate did say that he will definitely consider the distinction that was given in court between a caregiver and a breadwinner when he's considering whether these 5 people will be granted bail. And of course the case was postponed to the 29th of May, which is next week, and that is when we will know whether the 5 accused will be granted bail.